Hey everyone, welcome. In this video, we are going to talk about different types of environment in Salesforce. Then, what is a sandbox in Salesforce, and what are the different types of sandboxes? As said in earlier videos, we are mainly going to focus on Salesforce deployments. With that being said, there might be a problem, or you might be thinking that as a developer, we don't have our personal production or sandboxes environment. So, to address that problem, I have I'm going to provide you the sandbox and production credentials as well. But there will be a request from my side. Please don't change the production access or sandbox access because all the students, all the people who are watching the videos will be using the same credentials. And if you're watching the video when the credentials has been expired, please do let me know so that I can change the credentials and I can give you the different set of credentials. So this is let's quickly talk about first the type of environment in Salesforce. So there are two types of environment in Salesforce. One is a production environment, or one is a sandbox environment. So production environment is the environment which is live for your customers, for your end users, which is ready to use, and you cannot make any changes into the production environment. So say as an example, you are working on you are everyone uses mobile. You have installed an application which is, let's say, that Google Pay, and now you are ready to use your application is ready to use. You are using it to make the payments, you are using it to receive the payments, and there are various other tasks that you can perform, like recharging your mobile phone, paying the bills, and all those things. So whenever you have installed that application, which is you are directly installing from Google Play, or Google Play Store, or Apple Store, what is happening is that is the live environment, that is the live product. You cannot, like, no one can come and just make the changes into the production environment, and that breaks the end user functionalities. That is not going to happen into the production environment. But when we talk about, on the other hand, when we talk about sandboxes, sandbox is a kind of playground where you can just go ahead, make any changes. You can test it, you can delete, you can add new functionalities, whatever you want, you can do. So, this is basically a playground for a developer where they can just go ahead and try to put some functionality, test it. If that is working fine, if not, they can just go back and revert the changes. That is basically Sandbox is all about. And another example here for this Google Play Store. So you might have when you have installed the Google Play Store for the first time, the UI was kind of completely different, which is there as of today. What is happening? They went live. They uploaded their product to the different channels from where you can download. And now behind the scene, developers are working in a different environment, which is a sandbox, a playground for them, and then they are making the changes and saying that this UI looks perfect, this UI looks beautiful, this is not looking good. They are just making the changes, making hit and try, and once everything is perfect with the deployment process, they are deploying their new code to the different environment, which they can say that UAT means user acceptance testing. And after the user has accepted, or we can also say that the beta program, once the user has used, they have provided the feedback, then they came live, and from there you can update. Then they sent you the notification on your mobile saying that the new version of this application is available. Please update if you wanted to update it. So that is the sandbox for a developer purpose. That is what the sandbox environment is, and that is what we have covered what sandbox is. Basically, both the things we have covered earlier. Now let's talk about the different type of sandbox in Salesforce. There are different environments, like they have Java, .NET, they have PHP, Python, and machine learning. There are different kind of things. Every technology uses their own kind of environments for the development purpose. In Salesforce, we have mainly four types of sandboxes. One is a developer sandbox, one is developer pro, one is partial copy, one is full copy. Now, what is the different? Which one we should use? The developer sandbox is the sandbox basically which have all the configurations similar to the production environment. You cannot get any data from production. Suppose that you have some classes, few classes in your production environment, few process builders, few flow builders, some custom objects, and validation. If you create a sandbox, which is a type of developer, then you will get all the metadata from your production environment to your developer sandbox. But you will not get any data. Like if you have created some records, you have 1000 account records, you have 1000 contact records, you have 10,000 leads, you have 10,000 opportunities. All those records are not going to come into the developer sandbox. When we talk about developer pro, yeah, the developer sandbox has a limit of 200 MB data storage limit. Like you can only store the data up to 200 MB. If you wanted to store more data, then you have to go with developer pro sandbox. Again, which is similar to developer, but the data size is more than the developer sandbox, which is approx 5 GB. 5 or 2 GB. We are going to have the slide in the we have the slide next. Then we have got partial copy. Partial copy sandbox is the sandbox which contains the complete metadata as similar to the production, but it can also contains some of the data. Like when we say that some of the data, that means if you have 10,000 account records, it is going to have the 10,000 account records inside developer pro sandbox as well. Sorry, partial copy sandbox as well. But when we talk about if we have more than 10,000 records data for a single object, suppose that we have 1 lakh data for an account object, then it is only going to have 10,000 records from production to that partial copy sandbox, not more than 10,000 for a single object. So it is going to get the 10,000 records from your developer to your products, from your production environment to the partial copy environment for every single table, for every single object. And when we say that full copy, it is the exact replica of production. Whatever the data is there, whatever is there in production, it will be there in full copy sandbox. And that's why we always prefer to use full copy sandbox for UAT. Partial copy sandbox we can use for integration testing, but most of the times for both integration and UAT testing we use full copy sandbox because we wanted to have the data which is as real time as there in production environment. Now let's talk about the different things like the different sandbox we have here. You can see we have got developer, we have got like this is the developer, this is developer pro, this is partial copy, and this is full sandbox. Now refresh interval is 1 day. That means we can refresh our sandbox in every 1 day. Like after 1 day, we can refresh whatever is there in production, we can have inside our developer sandbox. What is the capacity? As we talked about, it is 200 MB. What it includes? All the configurations, apex and metadata, and all the users. That's what we talked about. It cannot contains any data. When we talk about developer pro sandbox, refresh interval is same. That means we can again refresh it one day. Now the storage capacity is 1 GB. Like we can store the data up to 1 GB. What it includes similar to the developer sandbox. All those configuration which are there. Now if we talk about partial copy sandbox, the refresh interval is 5 days. That means we can refresh our partial copy sandbox after 5 days. Like if I created my sandbox today, I can refresh this after 5 days. Then I can again wait for 5 days. Then I can refresh. What is the capacity? Up to 5 GB. What it includes? Configurations, apex and metadata, all users, sample of selected objects, and sandbox template supports as well. These are the availability for our partial copy. Then when we talk about full copy sandbox, refresh interval is approx 1 month, which is 29 days. Capacity is same as source. Whatever the capacity you have for your production environment, it will be same for your full copy sandbox. What it does include: configuration, all metadata, all users, all are selected objects, sandbox template supports, and history and chatter data options. So these are all the availability. These are all the options which are available for full copy sandbox. So this is all about this is all about this video, the types of sandboxes. What is sandbox? What are the different types of environments? I will see you into the next video. Thank you.